What's up, everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode from the Lions Cove podcast. I'm your host, Marcelo, and today I have my three good friends.
Olivia Munding,
Meghan Weiner,
and Ellie Fleischer.
Yeah, so the big three, the squad, pulled up today for the podcast. We've been talking about doing this for a while. I'm glad we finally got a date for it, and I'm very excited to go over your lacrosse careers. I don't know anything about lacrosse, but I'm very excited to learn a little bit about it and learn about your careers and your journeys through it. So it's going to be awesome. So to give a proper intro to the big three, so starting off with Ellie, she plays attack. So 2024 academic All-OAC, IWLCA academic honor roll, and she played in one game. Then in 2023 played in 3 games, 2 ground balls, and then she unfortunately suffered a head injury. And then in 2022 played 12 games, 6 points, 2 goals versus Heidelberg, 1 collegiate goal versus Marietta, and 1 assist versus Denison. Now looking over to Livy. Livy in 2024 played 6 games, 16 saves. She had a 571 point save percentage, which is crazy. I think that's pretty good, right, for Lax?
Yeah, that's good.
That's solid. That's solid. All right. So then,
legit.
so in 7 saves versus Capital. In 2023, played 9 games, 25 saves, and in 2022 played 9 games, 3 saves in the OAC championship. Then looking at Meghan on defense in 2024, she was an honorable mention for all OAC. Played in 15 games, 30 ground balls, 22 caused turnovers. In 2023, missed season due to injury, and then in 2022 played 16 games, caused 24 turnovers. So obviously, great resumes on the big three. So yeah,
I'm loving this new name.
Yeah, I love it.
Starting 0-5 in 2023 and then finishing with a 14-1 record this year is huge. What do you think changed between those 2 seasons, and how did the team stay focused and motivated through both the struggles and the success?
I think the special thing about this year, going undefeated into our last game, so we finished out 14-1. We have our first OAC playoff game this Wednesday, so we're really excited for that. But I think the big change here, and especially this season, is that literally every single person on our team wants to be there. Everyone is just excited. We all know the goal, and that's to get a ring. We're the big three here. We've never had that opportunity yet. We lost in our freshman year in the OAC championship, and then I've been in playoffs the rest, just battling through it all. So I think everyone's hungry. We want that ring, and I think everyone is buying into that process and wants to be there. So I think that's really helped. Just get everyone on the same page, get the energy up. People want to be at practice. People want to get better. People want to put in the extra work, and I think that's really made a difference this season.
I think it also, especially for the upperclassmen and the sophomores coming in, they were freshmen last year when Coach Tubridge, it was her first year, and I think it took a lot of adjusting for the whole team, kind of to figure out the dynamics of everybody and how she was as a coach and as a head coach. And correct me if I'm wrong, but this was her first year. That was her first year as a head coach,
yes.
right? Yeah. So I think that it was just adjusting to a team that was a bit broken from our past coaches, which I know we'll talk about later, adjusting to like how to repair us culturally and like mentally all together, while also trying to kind of make a name for herself. So I think that was definitely like, after having last year under her belt and knowing what our team can do and knowing all of the potential that we truly had, and also getting to know the girls different. Like being on a team full of 32 girls isn't easy. Definitely coaching 32 girls and like figuring out what works for everybody definitely wasn't easy either. So she kind of took a broken team and like tried to put us back together. And I know this year we've just been working towards the common goal of that OAC championship, like finally getting the ring after falling short so many times. And as Ellie was saying, like our team just loves each other and loves the sport of lacrosse, and like through our coaching staff and through supporting each other, like I know I personally have fallen back in love with the sport of lacrosse after a tough few years. And I think not only do we play all for each other, but also I think the underclassmen know how much we went through as like players and on this in our freshman year and sophomore year. And I think that I always can tell that like they're doing it for us and they're kind of showing their support in any way. So.
Yeah, I agree with what both you guys have to say. You guys took the words right out of my mouth, but definitely everyone is bought in the team culture this year. Like we've always had a good team culture all 4 years that we've been here, but this year was the closest we've ever been. And I just like think like our team chemistry has like helped us be able to like be 14-1 and like work towards success and winning.
Not only is our team like closer, but I think we have a lot of more trust and respect in each other, and that comes with how close we are and like the culture. We say culture all the time, and like that's our coach's thing, is like we have the best culture at John Carroll. Like we truly love each other and we truly want to be there, but also through that we trust each other, and we've been able to have hard conversations with each other, and like we've honed in on the fact that like your mistakes make you perfect. So like if I know that Ellie should have gotten a pass, I'm like, oh come on out, like I knew that you could do that. Or if I see someone that I know is faster than they can be and they're not doing 100% in sprints, we'll be like, come on, like I know that you can go faster than that. So like we've been holding each other to a higher standard, and then like having yourself also be held to that standard. It's super cool, and having people be receptive of just like, I know that you can do better, like let's do this, has created practices that are competitive, hard, fun. Like it's just, it's cool to be at, and it's cool to see everybody truly. Practices sometimes are harder than games because of how hard like we push each other.
My like journey, I've been on teams that, you know, started off like 0-11 or 0 something. You know, we had horrible team chemistry at times where people would just play iso ball and basketball and just not share the ball. They were all out to get their own points. And then I've been on teams where, you know, you have teammates that are really like looking out for you. Like, you know, if you're open, they'll pass it to you. They won't be selfish. And you know, playing with that like mindset of just like wanting everyone else to win is huge, because you start to form that like relationships both on the field and off the field, and it really just builds that team chemistry. So obviously, you know, going through that, you know, 0-5 start eventually came closer, became tighter, and you guys really want to win together and as a team instead of, you know, okay, I want these awards, you know, I want my own awards instead of the team award. And obviously at D3 and in general, the team award is usually the main thing. So awesome. So over the years, you've had to adjust to different coaching styles and philosophies. So how have these changes shaped your development as players, and what's the most valuable lesson you've learned over the past 4 years?
And I think over the past 4 years, we've had 3 different head coaches, and I don't think many athletes can say that. So first, it was just a huge adjustment overall. Every single coach brings, you know, good things. They may bring new things, and just adapting to every single coach it's been hard. It's been tough, and trying to, you know, not only play good, but also like form relationships with your coaches has also been tough. I know my junior year when our current head coach started, I was abroad, so I missed that whole like fall season of just like getting to know her and like how she, you know, coaches and her coaching style, to then jumping in the spring and being in season and trying to like adapt to that. That was hard. So I think just like trying to understand, you know, what the coach sees in you and what the coach wants from you, and also, you know, what you can learn from that coach. I think that's been, you know, the biggest takeaways that I've had.
I definitely think that having multiple coaches, you have to prove yourself again and again each time you have a new coaching staff. So like each year you're working harder and harder, trying to prove yourself and like gain the spot that you want. And sometimes that doesn't always happen, and you just have to be understandable and adaptable.
I mean, obviously, you know, kind of like how you mentioned, like Livy, just having to prove yourself like every single year, like every time you have a new coach is tough. I mean, I probably have like 20-30 contacts of coaches like in my phone. Just, you know, and those coaches I had to like prove, I had to, you know, work hard, kind of make a name for myself, reputation, and then eventually you build that relationship. And then once you get a new coach, and you start that all over again, and it's like the same process, and it's like, wow, like I really spent all this time like building this relationship with this person, and then now it's gone, and you just have to start all over again. So that's definitely like one thing that's like tough. But I've kind of like an off-topic question. So obviously, like I've never really been to a lacrosse game. Like my cousin played lacrosse in high school, but like I didn't really like understand it. So if you were to give me like a little like summary of how to play the game of lacrosse.
I'd say it's soccer with sticks. I'd say that's my best explanation of it. It's like on the girls' side, I would say it's less like physical. It's more like technical, because the guys can shoot from wherever and hope it goes in, whereas the girls, it's more like calculated because you can't, like, there's a lot of rules. But yeah, I think overall I would just say it's like a fast-paced game. It has all the positions that, like, you know, something like soccer would have, like a midfield, an attack, a defense. So yeah, that would be mine. I don't know.
No, that's probably good.
If you guys have anything else?
Yeah.
It's a fun game though.
Yeah.
There's a lot of rules though.
There's
been
a
like
lot of
rules
changes and a lot of new rule changes, and they're really protective, especially of the girls' side, because we literally only wear goggles. So like some girls are starting to wear helmets now because it's getting really physical. Like we can get hit with a ball in the head like literally at any time. So that's why there is all these rules. Like can't be chucking the ball from the 40 yard and hope it doesn't hit someone. So.
But I will say, I think that people don't give women's lacrosse enough credit. I mean, I'm biased because I play, but like it's hard, and it's very skill oriented, and it might not be the most fun thing to watch. I know a lot of people think it's a super slow game just because of all of the rules now, but it is such a fun sport to play, and I just want to like quick shout out
give a little props.
It's so fun, but it is really hard, and if you know how to play and like what all goes into it, it's so cool to watch, because like watching all the plays like go through, it's a cool sport. So I don't know, come watch the game.
So you've all been best friends and teammates for years, and now that senior day is behind you, how has playing alongside each other over the years shaped your bond, and what does it mean to have experienced that milestone together? Because a lot of people, you know, even in like high school, like we had a team of 17 freshmen, and there was only 4 seniors left. Like, so, you know, it's definitely tough, and you know, you see a lot of people quit throughout the way, but obviously making it through, you guys are very strong for that. So talk about your experience.
I definitely think that like playing a sport in college and like being on a team helps you like get those bonds. Like coming here, I like barely knew knew anyone, I only knew like the lacrosse team. But like you do so much more together that you do when like you're not on a team. Like we have lifts together, team dinners, like we have so many like other events that we do that we just like are always together, I guess.
Yeah.
And I just think like, I mean, right here, the big three, these are my girls. Like at the end of the day, like, you know, you talked about like how did you adapt to like all the changes and, you know, and with all the different coaching staff and, you know, proving yourself. Like if it was not for Olivia and Megan sitting here right now today, like I would 1000% not be where I am. And like one, you guys just rock, and like two, I think, you know, we literally spend the entire day together. Like we just joked like, what was it, 2 days ago? We were like all sitting next to each other in the training room, like just getting our stretches in, and someone like one of our teammates, Rachel, walked past and she was like, do you guys like not see, like do you not get enough of each other?
It was like, do you not spend enough time with each other?
And I was like, no, like we need more time. And I think like just being on a team and like being able to be around them like all throughout the day, and like you see them at school and in class, and then you see them on the field, like they're just my girls, and I really cannot imagine, you know, playing lacrosse without guys.
I have to add something. Like you guys are my people. Like I don't know what I would like. I don't think I could do lacrosse without you guys.
Oh, that was sweet. I mean, I feel like we've talked a lot about freshman to senior like growth, and as people and as friends, or personally as a person and as a friend and as a player, you guys have made me 10 times better than I ever could have imagined. Like I go to lacrosse. Sometimes, I mean, you don't always want to be going to practice, but the fact that I get to get out of bed and drive with these two like to practice is so fun. We always listen to music, or we just talk about like our day. Having the support of Livy and Ellie has just been incredible, not only on the field, but also I always tell them like God put them in my life as a reason. Like this year we have gotten closer than we ever have been, and I can't imagine a life without them now. Like literally. I don't know, I'll get emotional talking about it because they're just like the best people. But like we get home from practice and we're eating dinner together, talking about our days. Exactly. Like I could nonstop be with them, and I'm just so grateful for being recruited to the same school as the people that I came in with freshman year. Like exactly. I have the best friends, and thank God for John Carroll. Like as much as sometimes there's ups and downs, I always remind myself that like I was never going to be a professional athlete. I can tell you that much. So like keeping the memories, and like I have my bridesmaids for sure. So like and having senior day after all of that, we had the best senior day
so
that I've ever could have imagined. Like we had the best day,
and we just had each other, and we had our families there, and like I feel like we've had great support like all throughout our 4 years, whether that was from, you know, each other, from our families, or from our friends,
each other's families.
Yeah, each other's families. Like I think getting to senior day and like walking down like the field, we don't see as big as an accomplishment as it is, because we have like sticked it out and we have like put in the work, and like I'm proud of you guys. So
I'm proud of you guys. Love you guys.
That was so wholesome thing with this podcast is seeing. So
probably also the most wholesome thing we've ever said to each other.
Yeah.
I'll never be said again.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, coming here to John Carroll as freshmen, like obviously, like Livy and Meg, you guys are both from like the Rochester area, and then Ellie from Pittsburgh. You know, you come to a brand new place, you know, in a different state, not knowing like what to expect, and the fact that, you know, you've seen your progress, you've seen the journey, and you know you guys have been together ever since. Like it's like truly awesome, and you know, I like it's funny, like we kind of always talk about this, but when everything kind of comes to an end, that's when everyone starts to become closer and stuff, and it really starts to become real. Whereas when you're in the moment, when you're going to classes and you're doing like the daily stuff, like you don't really like think about it. But now there are times coming here, and a little like less than a month is crazy. So
I mean, also can I just add in like thank God for Livy for bringing us you, Cello. Gosh, good friend, great person, cash money.
Shout out the accounting program.
Yeah. So me and Livy went on that amazing trip together. It was to New York City and DC, and we became very close, and we've been great friends ever since. So that's definitely my dog for sure. So twin. So now kind of going into the individual questions. Meg, congrats on being a finalist for the Roman Canning Award. So what does that recognition mean to you, and community service shaped your JCU experience?
Alexandra Heichman, who started the Morgan's Message chapter at John Carroll, she's like one of my biggest role models in life. She actually was the one that handed me told me that I was a finalist, and it was right after we had a huge win against.
It was BW.
It was against BW. It was a really big win, and I just remember being so stoked about it. It was at our Morgan's Message game too, which was just the coolest thing ever. And for people that don't know what Morgan's Message is, it was started in honor of Morgan Rogers, who took her life at the age of 22 after battling a career-ending injury. Her family started it in honor of her, and it's really just to emphasize the fact that your mental health is just as important as your physical health, which going through college has been a big thing for me. I had double hip surgery when I was a sophomore and took a huge mental toll on my life, but the community service of being on the board of Morgan's Message has just been something that is so important to me. me, and the topic of mental health and ending the stigma that surrounds it has also always been such a huge like importance in my life. So I mean, I know that that's not the only reason why I'm being recognized for it. I worked at the JDC. I did volunteer there with one of my classes, and we taught like a book about power source and how to take your own power back to young girls that were incarcerated, and that was such a cool experience. And being able to do that through John Carroll, like I would have never done that at home by myself. And having classes here that kind of require you to do service is something that I think is so cool, and it's just such a big part of John Carroll and what it is and like the Jesuit experience. So it's just fun. Like I have loved giving back and helping, and that's like what I want to do with my life is I just got a job working at a mental health day clinic, and I'm just like so stoked because
Yeah, Meg, congrats.
Thank you. Shout out Magnolia Clubhouse. But I'm just so stoked, and what fuels me is like seeing people's reactions when like you know that you helped them with something, and I am just really excited, and I'm just very honored to be recognized because I think that it's only their 4th year of doing it, and I don't know, I think that I would love to win, but also just to be recognized is also such a blessing in life, and I just love helping people. I don't know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know. Like this past summer for my 3-on-3 league, we raised money for Special Sports, a nonprofit that helps kids with disabilities like play organized sports. Yeah. And it was awesome. Like the feeling of just being able to give back and make a difference. Like we were able to pay for these kids a pool party. So like so it was awesome. Like it was a great experience, and the fact that I was with all like my best friends, like and they were helping out, like it was awesome. So just like the feeling of like giving back, you just feel good, and like you're really making like a difference in like people's lives. And I feel like at times like people will be like will say, oh, like I don't have time to do that, but you can always make time to give back and always make things better in people's lives and within the community. So big congrats on that, Meg.
Thanks.
So and plus Carroll like always like promotes service and just giving back, and I feel like with Carroll you really like adapt to that, and you kind of make the effort to go give back, and you're kind of stepping out of like your comfort zone for some people, and after you do it you feel great, so then you want to continue doing it. So our next question is for Ellie. So Ellie, after battling through many injuries and coming back strong, what was the mental and physical journey like, and how did it change your approach to the game?
That's a good question. I mean, sitting here, Megan, double hip surgery herself, many athletes on our team as well, and literally almost every athlete has battled an injury, and I think, coming in freshman year with a torn labrum and had a shoulder surgery, and then to concussion sophomore year, to then dealing with shoulder stuff again junior year, to then now being a senior dealing with the old croaks and the old bones and just trying to make it through, being 22, playing with, girls that are 18. It's been tough, and I think, mentally, like I'm a very confident person, outside of lacrosse, but when it comes to lacrosse, like it's like one of my weaknesses is just like being confident in who I am, and I think when you come back from an injury, obviously you feel like you're out of it, you feel like you're out of shape, and I think that was the toughest thing mentally, is just getting back in the swing of things, and also like trying to prove yourself with like a new head coach every year, and also just like trying to make the most out of your role in that position. So like when you're hurt, you're not on the field playing, so you have to find your role, whether that's being the hype man on the sidelines or giving your teammates advice. I think it's just about finding your role and being mentally tough through it. And I think it's really changed my game in the sense that like I appreciate what the people that can't play with us are doing for our team, because when we call it the IR for us, the injured reserve, when you're on IR, like you're up in the press box doing the score, you're helping pick up balls, you're cheering on your teammates. Like people don't see that role and how hard it is to stand on the side while your team is having so much fun playing, working in the all day to just like trying to get better, whether that's PT, dry needling, cupping. Like there's so much that like we have to go through just to play the sport we love. So I think just overall, like just being like mentally tough and like understanding that this season may look different than maybe it did back when, but knowing that finding comfort in this is your new role, and just make the most out of it.
Yeah, and I mean obviously being friends with you guys, I mean you guys go through treatment like every day, like like
hours.
You guys always texted and stuff, so like I mean like the amount of like recovery, the amount of things that like you guys do to prepare your bodies and your minds to play is tough. So big props to you for that. And obviously coming back from injury, like I'll never forget. So when I broke and dislocated my finger on my shooting hand, because I'm a lefty, and I came back and I was so afraid to shoot the ball because I was like I don't want it to like snap out of place or anything like that, and I had so much anxiety just going into tryouts, because I literally came back like the day of tryouts, and it was just like I just felt weird, just like out of it. So I know when you come back like right off injury, it feels super weird at first, but eventually you have to adapt and kind of get used to getting back to how you used to play.
Exactly.
So but I know the challenges are definitely tough. You guys are obviously pushing through and doing great. So now going to Livy. Livy with a .571 save percentage in 2024. Super impressive. Super impressive.
Thank you.
So being a goalie comes with a lot of pressure. So how do you handle the intensity of needing to make those big saves?
I think just making sure you're playing your game. Like when you go in, you just have to mentally be there and be prepared for whatever's gonna happen. Like just when you go in, knowing that you're gonna give it your all and you're gonna play as best as you can, and just that to like help you. Definitely like our scouts help, like, and watching film, it helps like show me how people shoot, where they shoot, but also like just like when I'm in cage, I try not to think, because when I think I overcomplicate things. So I'm just there and playing my game, that's like the only way I can describe it. But like if I'm overthinking like how someone's gonna shoot a ball, like where it's gonna go, I'm like not prepared. Like I just have to like be ready, track the ball as best as I can, and just show up and show out for those situations.
Yeah, I mean, like, listen, like the mental side is huge. Like I know, like I was always told, like, you know, it's always 80% mental, like 20% physical. Just like if you have the right mindset going into a game, like you're gonna play great, like you're gonna play your best. Whereas if you are just completely out of it, like it kind of just shuts you down for like the whole game. And obviously, being a goalie, like to make those big saves and to really prevent the other team from scoring, like that's a big role, because obviously, you know, you can cost your team some games at times, and you know, and if you let up those goals and the pressure does fall on you. But obviously, you know, to be in that role is great, and you know, it's pressure is privilege for sure. That's like one thing that I've always learned. It's like, okay, like if I have pressure to do something, you know, that means I have to do it. Like I have to rise to the occasion. So. But yeah, awesome. So going back to Meg. So Meg, you've been a standout on defense this season. So what's your mentality when you're tasked with shutting down an opposing player? So I'm not too sure how like defense works. Like I'm not sure if it's like you have to guard a specific player, or if you have to pick up like players on your side of the field. Like how does that work?
Well, so sometimes we'll do a face guard, but we call it a choke. So we kind of shut someone off from getting any passes, or sometimes we'll spike them, which means we'll send a slide early to them if we know they're a driver. Typically we choke if they're a good feeder, but defense, I guess that we typically set up like where we set up. Sometimes I'm low, sometimes I'm high, but it also just depends on if you have a matchup or not that day. For some of our harder teams like Capital, Mount, BW, typically we will have some matchups out there, and sometimes that can get confusing. But the nice thing is that like I love our defense because it's so well run and we're able to help each other out at all times. Personally, I think mentally for me, defense has been a lot of ups and downs in the way that I've been playing my defense. I think that it's a very also mentally challenging position, because you miss a slide, that's your fault. You go behind the line and it's tied up. Now the other team is winning because you pushed a little bit too hard. Like, so I think that this year, the way that I mentally go into like matchups is kind of playing, our coach always says like play clean and composed. I've always been getting calls from like the past 3 years. I was definitely, I think, leading the team in fouls. So I've been really putting in a lot of work to focus on the fundamentals and going back to that. And I think also playing the harder teams and having those matchups, you just have to remember that, I mean, you're playing your team, you're playing your game, you're playing John Carroll Women's Lacrosse, and really doesn't matter who you're going up against, it matters how you play when you're playing against them. So kind of trying not to look at the name on the other person's jersey and trying to play for the name on mine. Like that's kind of the mentality that I'm going into it. And you also have to remind yourself that this is the game of lacrosse. The game is that it's going to be a close game. The other team is going to score, and that's kind of just the fun of it. I think the most fun games that we've had this season have definitely been like the closer games, the games that give you the thrill of, oh, it's close. Like how blessed are we to be able to play a competitive game of lacrosse on like a beautiful day? Like those are the best days. And I think the mentality this year has just been like play every day like it's your last, because I mean we're going into playoffs now, and we're only promised one more game in our careers of lacrosse. And so I think I've just been trying to go at it with everything that I've got, but also knowing that you can make calculated risk because I trust my teammates so much. So I think that's why like you get cost turnovers, because I'm confident that I know if I miss that goal, if I miss that ball, like my teammates have my back, or I'm gonna go for this GB if I'm not fast enough, like my teammates got my girl and can recover. And this year has been fun, but definitely also challenging.
Yeah, and then like you kind of talked about like the scoring aspect. I know like I always thought like the scoring was often low, but like the past scores that I've seen, like they've been like pretty high, like 15-10 or like different scores like that. Is that usually how like lacrosse is? Like is it always like high scoring, or is it always low?
It honestly really depends on the teams that you're playing.
And how good you do that day.
Yeah, honestly,
Offense is connecting, then yeah, it's going to be a higher scoring game. But
if sticks are hot, yeah, that'll be higher. If it really just depends on who you're playing, but I know, like, if we're playing someone that is at the same level as us, typically it's going to be a high scoring game because it's going to be back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. If we're playing a team that's I think that if we're playing a team that's like a little bit worse than us, we typically, the score will be a little bit higher, but it literally really just depends on who you're playing and how well you play and how hot your goalie is that day, who saves what, like, it's really just luck of the draw, I don't know.
Now going on to Ellie, being named the Academic All-OAC and IWLCA Academic Honor Roll is very impressive. So how do you juggle the academic and the athletic pressures?
Totally. I think coming to John Carroll has just truly been a blessing with that because, it is a D3 school. It's a great business school. Everyone here, like, wants to do good in school and, like, appreciates, the education that we get here. So I think that has just truly set up the success, to be able to, conquer the classroom and also, like, kill it on the field. And I think, being D3, I wanted to go to a school that had, like, a very prestigious program, like, specifically in business, because that's what I was looking for, but also, like, play for a team that was good. And I think John Carroll was, like, that perfect fit. And also, like, the best thing about being D3 is that it's for the student before the athlete. And I think that's something that varies, like, from D3 to D1. So, we're allowed to do things that, maybe a D1 program couldn't do, such as, like, going on these trips. Like, unfortunately, one of them was canceled, but I was going to go on a economics trip to DC in March, and, like, my coach was going to let me do that. Or, I got to study abroad for an entire semester and, like, further my education, even though I was, like, missing a fall season. So I think just being here and, like, understanding that, you are here to play lacrosse, but, like, you're also here to get such a great education has just really, opened the doors for me to just be able to, like, really take in all the education and, like, really just enjoy being a college student.
Yeah, and, like, even, like, here at Carroll, like, I always feel like the classes are harder than, like, some of, like, my friends at, like, other schools' classes. They'll be like, yeah, like, you have, like, 2 papers, that's it. I'm like, oh, well, I'm doing homework every single day. I mean, obviously, I don't play a sport here, but, just, like, balancing the academics and also, like, the social life as well, like, it's like, very, very challenging. So props to you for balancing all of that, taking all the harder classes and also balancing your social life on top of that. So now going back to Livy, goalkeeping requires not just physical skill, but also a strong sense of anticipation. So how do you read the game and position yourself to make those saves? And what's been your biggest learning moment this season?
Like, out of my career here, like, I've played most my freshman year than I have now, and, like, I haven't had, like, the best mentality about it, but I think this year I was really, like, locked in and focused, and I really cared about playing. Like Megan said earlier, like, I really fell back in love with lacrosse this year. So basically, when I do go in games, I, at least freshman, sophomore year, and even last year too, I would go in cold, which that you just have to be, like, prepared and, like, anticipating to go in. Like, you have to always be ready. And, like, this year, we haven't been doing that many, like, cold subs, but, like, we'll be able to warm up again. But, like, just being able to, like, know what you have to do and then be able to, like, go and do it.
Yeah.
And, like, especially, like, being a goalie, like, there's only one position. Like, there's only one goalie can be in at a time. Whereas, like, there's 4 attack, 4 defense, and 3 middies. Like, there's, like, multiple positions. So, like, goalies, like, there's only one. So, like, you have to be, like, on your best, like, doing your best, showing up, prepared, like, putting in the work, being gritty, and yeah.
Yeah. Well, Livy, that was a great response to that question, honestly. And, I feel like that's always, like, one of, like, the hardest part of sports is just going in cold and not being able to, like, get, like, a warm up, and you're kind of just thrown out there. But I feel like going into those, uncomfortable scenarios or going in those, like, different environments, they'll eventually, like, make you stronger, create that, good, like, it'll be a different experience for you, but you'll definitely, have some anxiety, but you'll definitely come out, like, a lot stronger, and you'll feel more confident, the next time, you just get thrown in there. But so now to wrap up this podcast, I always end off, I don't send this to any of my guests, so you guys did not get this sent to you guys.
Come on.
But so this is the quote of the episode segment. So for this, I'll say a quote that I find online. If it could be to, like, a famous person, famous athlete, even, like, Pinterest, even anything really. And so you guys will go around and talk about what this quote means to you, and then each of you should tell me and the audience a quote that you live by every day. This one was off Google Images. So it said, "Even when you've played the game of your life, it's the feeling of teamwork that you'll remember. You'll forget the plays, the shots, and the scores, but overall, you'll never forget your teammates."
This quote is, like, struck a nerve because I, every single season, don't remember any of the games because the only thing that I remember is, like, being out on the field with my teammates, and I think that I'm just grateful that that's my memory. Like, I remember the bus rides to and from where we go. I remember being in the locker room. I remember calibrating, which is a dance that we do every single time before a game, and I just remember, like, being together. I remember celebrating together. I'll remember losing together. These teammates have been my life, and I'm just grateful that we get to play with them, but I think that it's just fun that I just remember all the fun times and, like, like the bonding things that we do together. And playing lacrosse is just an added bonus to finding like my lifelong friends.
Yeah.
I think. Do I say my quote now?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
The quote that I live by every day is start each day with a grateful heart. It's my favorite quote.
That's a great quote.
Definitely, like lacrosse is a team sport. Like you have to like do things as a team. Like there's no I in team, so like you just have to be together and like working together towards like a greater goal, which is what we do on a daily.
Yeah, awesome. Love it. So now, what quote do you live by every day?
It is what it is.
That's her favorite.
That's her
That
favorite
is my
quote.
quote. That
We
is my
hear it all
quote.
the time.
Yeah.
Because life's gonna happen. It is what it is. Like you just have to deal with it and move on. Accept it. Control the controllables.
Yeah, that's it.
This quote completely embodies, I would say, basically my entire like athletic experience. Like, I mean, playing like 3 sports in high school to now like playing collegiate lacrosse. I think, I don't remember, the games. I mean, even when we talk about like last season and they're like, oh, that big loss. Like, I don't even like think about like that stuff. Like, I'm thinking about our spring break trips. Like, went to Florida this year. We had a blast. Like, I'm thinking about all of our like team bonding events, whether that's like going out with the teammates or just like having fun in practice. Like, every single moment has just ingrained not only good memories with my favorite people, but also just like solidifying just solid relationships with like every single one of these girls. And like I can't wait to like come back and like cheer on all the like underclassmen that are gonna be playing and like get to cheer Livy and Meg on and whatever they're doing. That I live by. It's my favorite one to say it all the time is you can't lose what's meant to you. And I feel like that's like what I'm living right now is like I'm a senior and I still am figuring out the post grad plans and like regardless of whatever happens, like I can't lose what's meant for me. So
Well, what a great way to end off this episode. Livy, Meg, and Ellie, thank you again for hopping on the podcast. Hopefully you guys had a great time. I like this is the first time I've ever had like 3 people like I've been interviewing at the same time. So it was a great experience, especially to experience it with you guys.
The big three.
Big three. But so is there anything else that you guys have to add before we end it off?
no, just thanks so much for
Thanks
having
so
us. You're the
Yes,
best.
thank
You're
you
the
for
best.
having us.
Hey, well, thank you guys.
Go Streaks.
Hey,
Yeah.
here we go, Blue Streaks. Tune in on Wednesday. We got a game against maybe we don't know who yet, but 7 p.m. Charlie Capital.
Yeah. But one last thing I have to add, shout out to my boy Owen, my favorite teammate of all time, and Momo. Love you both, brothers for life. All right, so make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share with friends and family. And Tuesdays at noon, episodes will be out. We got 2 on Tuesday. So go check out the other one if you watch this one. And then I have a 1-year anniversary podcast special coming up. It's going to be awesome. Looking forward to it. So, all right, well, that'll do it. Peace, everyone.